So guys, today we're gonna talk about licensing and registration of food business regulation 2011. So guys, one important thing, the FSSAI Act, it gives you the gist. I mean, it gives you the brief of things, right? But the regulations, it give you the detailed information. So that is why it's important to go through regulations, because a lot of students, they just messaged me yesterday. Is it important to go through regulations? Yes, guys, because, and don't worry, there are, I think, 26 regulations. We'll cover only the important ones, we'll just skip the non-important ones. But few regulations like packaging and labeling, and then licensing, registration regulations, these are very, very important, right? So need not to worry. I'll make sure that I don't burden you guys with the information. I want you to just imbibe the important information, right? So now licensing and registration is the another very, very important regulation, because this is the, I mean, utmost priority. There are two priorities of FSSAI, if you see: providing safe and wholesome food to the consumer, and second is they want to ensure that all the food business operators, either they have the license, if they are the big food business operators, or if they are the small business operator, they should register with FSSAI, right? So that FSSAI has their complete record. Right. So in this regulation, you can just go through these definitions. I'll take you through these definitions one by one. Right. So Central Licensing Authority, as I told you, in food, these regulations, or under the food regulatory authorities, there are two bodies, right? One is FSSAI, which operates at the central level, and then there is a state FDAs, which operate at the state level. So now, if you see Central Licensing Authority, so this means designated officer. So guys, whenever you talk about the Central Licensing Authority, so this is not the FSSAI who provides the license. I mean, FSSAI is the organization, but the authorized officer who issues the license is the designated officer, right? So if you see, Central Licensing Authority means designated officer appointed by a CEO. He is appointed by the CEO of FSSAI in his capacity of Food Commissioner Officer. As you all know, that CEO of FSSAI, he also has powers of Food Safety Commissioner, right? So designated is appointed by a CEO, and designated officer, guys, he is not appointed by any examination. He is appointed by his rank, right? He might be some SDM of the state, or he might be on higher position, right? So because of his position, he is appointed as designated officer, and all other officers, be it food safety officer, technical officer, food analyst, they are appointed by CEO of FSSAI. But for those, exam is conducted, right? For him, there is no examination for appointing as a Central Licensing Authority. Right. So third point, if you see licensing authority, again, it means designated officer appointed under section 36(1) of the Act. So if you have gone through the Act, you would see all the relative information regarding designated officer. It's given under section 36(1) of the Act. So again, whenever we are talking about the licensing authority, it means designated officer only. So he is appointed as per the Act of FSSA Act, section 36(1). And again, he is appointed by the Commissioner of Food Safety of the state. So licensing authority, he can be either appointed by the Commissioner of Food Safety of the state, or CEO of FSSAI in his capacity of Food Safety Commissioner, right? So now the another definition is petty food manufacturer. So now there are two type of food business operators. There can be small petty food manufacturers, or there can be bigger food manufacturing houses, right? So now petty food manufacturer, who are they? So if you see, FSSAI is clearly defined: manufacturers they manufacture or sell any article of food by himself, or a petty retailer. So the small, small business operators, I mean small retailers, hawkers, or vendors, or temporary stall holders, or small distributors who manufacture and sell article of food by themselves. They don't have any bigger manufacturing unit. They just have a small kitchen. They make the food there and they sell it to the consumers. Right. So they fall under the category of petty food manufacturers. Further, such other food businesses, including small scale or cottage or such other industries relating to business or tiny food business with annual turnover not exceeding 12 lakhs. So guys, remember this figure. So other food business operators, right? Small small scale industries like bread making industry and everyday essential industries. So those industries which have which make only 12 lakhs per year, their turnover or their profit is just 12 lakhs per year, so they also fall under this category. And make sure you remember these numbers. This can be asked in the question, right? So further, yeah, there are further three other parameters which FSSAI has defined who can be registered under petty food business operator. Right? Just a second, guys. Yeah. So the other food business operator who can get a registration, they need not to obtain the license, are the FBOs who have the production capacity of food other than milk and milk products and meat products does not exceed 100 kg per liter per day. So guys, except these two products, the small business operators who are dealing with food, but they are dealing with only 100 kg per liter of food or 100 kg of the food per day. So they are eligible for applying for the registration. And further, procurement or handling and collection of the milk up to 500 liters of milk per day. So guys, this was the question I think which was asked by FSSI in the last examination. In the pre-examination, the question was who must register. I mean, they asked this minimum quantity, right? So for registration, 500 liter of the milk per day is the minimum requirement. So just remember this figure, very, very important, right? So slaughtering capacity. So the smaller businesses who has the slaughtering capacity of two large animals per day, or 10 small animals per day, or 50 poultry birds per day. So even they are eligible for applying for the registration with the designated officer, right? That is FSSAI. So now comes the registering authority. So again, I mean, even license would be provided by the designated officer, but also, in small states, in small villages, in small towns. So apart from designated officer, so now we're talking about registering authority, not licensing authority. So as you know, this small petty business, they need to get the registration. So who would be the registering authority? So it's clearly mentioned designated officer or even food safety officer. As you know, food safety officer's major job is to conduct surveys, surveillance, and right, he is to be on field, he has to send samples and everything. But also FSSAI has said he can also act as a registering authority, he can also issue registrations, right? So also apart from DO and FSO, other officials in panchayat, municipal corporation, or other local body or panchayat in that area, notified as such by a state food safety commissioner for the purpose of registration. So all these panchayats or municipal corporation, they themselves are not empowered to issue the registration certificate, but they are provided this power by a state food safety commissioner. So in some states, right, if you know, FSSAI, they have very little manpower. So now, in order to cover so many food businesses in India, so now state food commissioner, he can take his call. He can take a decision to give this power to these bodies so that they can go and issue registration and they can get maximum registration businesses registered with them, right? So for the state licensing authority, again, DO is the main officer in state as well. So designated officer appointed under section 36(1) of the act by the Food Safety Commission of the state, right? So I mean, very, very simple terms, but I mean, these things give you clarity in detail. In FSSAI Act, the things are a bit bleak. I mean, they are just overview, but regulations would give you things in detail, right? So further coming to the licensing and registration of the food businesses. So now we'll talk about how the registering of the petty food business operator take place, in how many days the registration certificate should be given to them, how many days it takes for processing, and also similarly we'll talk about the licensing, right? So if you see, first of all, registration of the petty food business operator. So this is the complete process how they should apply. So every petty food business operator shall register themselves with the registering authority by submitting an application form in the Form A under Schedule 2 of the regulations along with the fee provided in the Schedule 3. So guys, in this regulation, that is licensing and business regulation, there are total 4 schedules. So Schedule 1, it talks about the food business operator that comes under the purview of the FSSAI directly or the Central Licensing Authority, right? And in Schedule 2, there are just forms, Form A, Form B, Form C, Form D, Form E. So there are 5 forms. So just you need not to go through those, just go through those forms, but you need not to remember anything, right? So, and in Schedule 3, all the fee, right? I mean, if someone has to register with the FSSAI, they have to pay a particular fee. So that is mentioned if someone is obtaining license. So that fee is mentioned. So in Schedule 3, all the fee criteria is given. And in Schedule 4, that is very, very important. I taught you Schedule 4, right? So in that, each and everything in detail, all the GMP practices, all the good handling practices, good manufacturing practices. So that is very, very important, right? So here, for you, the important schedules would be Schedule 1, Schedule 3, and Schedule 4. That's it. And also these things, right? So now, the further, if you see second point, the petty food manufacturer shall follow the basic hygiene and sanitary requirements provided in Part 1 of the Schedule 4 of the regulations. So again, they are mentioning here all the hygienic and sanitary practices which are provided in the Schedule 4 of this regulation. These petty food manufacturers, they should also follow these. It's not that if they are small food business operator, they can get away with these things. No, safety and hygiene, as you know, is the priority of the FSSAI, right? So they should also follow all these regulations of the safety and hygiene provided in the Schedule 4 of this regulation and provide a self-attested declaration of the adherence to this regulation in the application form. So whenever they are applying for the registration, they have to provide a self-attested declaration, and that declaration is given in Annexure 1 of this Schedule 2. Right. So by providing that declaration, they are proving that yes, we are following all the regulations which are provided by FSSAI in this Schedule 4. And tomorrow, if they violate it, they have to pay heavy fine. Right. So third point, the registering authority shall consider the application and may either grant registration or reject it with the reason to be recorded in writing or issue notice of inspection within 7 days of the receipt of application of registration. So guys, for example, if today some wolf or this petty food business operator, he is applying for the registration, so within these 7 days of time, either he would be granted the registration or his application would be rejected, or and also or whatever the case is, everything should be recorded in writing. So everything should be in written form. If designated officer, he plans to reject his application, so he should write his review in black and white, and whenever asked, he should produce it, the reasons, and also issue a notice of inspection. So sometime guys, for example, sometime a designated officer, if he knows that of this food business operator is operating in a particular area and the history of that area is not very good, I mean lot of contamination cases come in that area, so in that case he can issue a notice of inspection. So now safety officer, he would go for inspection, he would carry out inspection, and after he is happy that yeah, he is following all those norms, all those regulations which are provided by FSSAI, then he comes and give his report to the designated officer, and after that DO provides him or issues him the registration certificate, right? So all these activities must happen within 7 days of the receipt of application form. So I mean, within a week, all these activities should happen. Either he should grant him the registration certificate or reject it or issue notice of inspection, right? So fourth point, in the event of inspection being ordered, the registration shall be granted by the registering authority after satisfied with the safety, hygiene, and sanitary of the premises contained in Part 2 of the Schedule 4 within the period of 30 days. So now, normally license should either be provided or rejected in 7 days. But if inspection is issued, so then they need to carry out the inspection. So the total period of 30 days, within 1 month, they have to carry the inspection and they have to take the decision, right? If the inspection is ordered by the DO. Otherwise, within 7 days, everything must be done, right? So further, if registration is granted or denied or inspection not ordered within 7 days as provided above, or no decision is communicated within 30 days, the petty food manufacturer may start its business, provided it will be incumbent on FBO to comply with the improvement suggested by registering authority. So guys, if you see here, if the FSSAI, if the employees are not FSSAI, I mean state FDAs, if employees are very lazy, they are not taking action on time. So if they miss this deadline of 7 days, and also they miss this deadline of 30 days, so FSSAI is clearly saying to the food business operator, you start your business, right? So whatever action would be taken, it would be taken on DO, or I mean other food safety officers for delaying their job. So they have clearly mentioned the petty food manufacturer may start its business. He can go ahead even if he does not have, if he is not issued license or RC, right? Provided, now further they are saying you start your business, but then even after that, food safety officer would go on inspection, and if there are certain improvement which needs to be made in his manufacturing unit, so they can issue the improvement notice, and he has to comply with that improvement notice, right? So further, provided that registration shall not be refused without giving the applicant an opportunity of being heard. Again, FSSAI has clearly said, if someone is applying for the registration, if his application is rejected, he should given a chance to speak out, right? A designated officer should also hear him before completely rejecting his registration certificate. So further, registering authority shall issue RC and a photo ID card. So registering authority, it issues two type of things, that is registration certificate, that is RC, and photo ID card, which shall be displayed at a prominent place at all the time of the premises or vehicle or any cart where he is conducting his sale or manufacturing. So all these certificates and the photo ID card, it must be displayed at all the time whenever he opens his shop, whenever he is selling his food, wherever he is manufacturing. So those should be prominently displayed on a wall, so that at single glance it is visible to all the stakeholders, be it consumers, be it food safety officers, be it auditing officers, everyone, right? So sixth point, the registering authority or any office or agency specifically authorized for this purpose shall carry out the food safety inspection of the registering establishment at least once in a year. So guys, you remember we spoke about audit. So now here they are saying, although these manufacturings are these FBOs are small, right? They are small petty food business operators, but for them audit won't be conducted, but there shall be at least inspection for them. So either food safety officers, state food safety officers, they must go for inspection at least once in a year, right? Fine. So moving ahead, so we spoke about the registration process. Now let's talk about the licensing of the food business operator. So if you see in the first point, no person shall commence any food business unless he possesses a valid license. Yes. So this is FSSAI is clearly saying no one in India should start a business of food without they have a valid license. So this is very, very important point. So you can just skip this part, provided, so just skip this part, not at all important for you. So come to the second point, notwithstanding the provision contained in the regulation above or in any other registration or the licensing certificate issued under existing, I mean you can skip this part as well, not important. Come to the third point, license for commencing on carrying on the food business which falls under schedule 1 shall be granted by the central licensing authority. So guys, as you know, as I told you, in this regulation, there are 4 schedules. In schedule 1, there are certain list of businesses which falls directly under the FSSAI, that is Central Licensing Authority. So that is what they are trying to say here, that for commencing on carrying on the food business, so the which falls under schedule 1, all the businesses which fall under schedule 1, they should mandatorily take the license from the FSSAI, Central Licensing Authority. They should not go to the state FDAs, right? So they have clearly mentioned, provided that food authority may through notification make such changes and modify the list of the schedule 1. So all the food business operator who are mentioned in schedule 1, so today you will see there are 10 categories which are provided in schedule 1, but tomorrow FSSAI can also increase those lists, or it can also remove certain businesses from this list, right? So now whoever is mentioned in schedule 1, so mandatorily they need to take the license from the Central Licensing Authority. Right. So fourth point, license for commencing on carrying on the food business which are not covered in schedule 1 shall be granted the license by state or UT licensing authority. Yes. So the names which are not mentioned in this schedule 1 list, so they should go and take the license from state or UT licensing authority. Right. That is very, very clear. So FBO shall ensure that all the conditions of the license are as provided in Annexure 2 of the Form B in Schedule 2, and safety and hygienic requirements are provided in Schedule 4 are met or are complied with at all the time. So now, as I told you, in Schedule 4, there are certain annexure and certain conditions of the license which all these food business operator need to comply with, right? So those, we'll talk about those conditions, and I'll run you through those conditions and the certain details which are very important for applying for the license. So they are saying here clearly they should comply with all the details which are provided in Annexure 2 and also all the sanitary and hygienic requirements of the Schedule 4 of this document, right? Further, provided that the licensing authority shall ensure periodical food safety audit and inspection of the licensed establishment through their own or agencies authorized by for this purpose by FSSAI. So now, since these are the bigger food business operator, so for them, audit and inspection both must be carried out. Remember, in petty food in food business operator, only inspection was required, that too once in a year. But since these are bigger food business operators, so for them, even food safety audit and inspection both must be conducted either by food safety officers or private agencies, right? I think you remember we spoke about the audit part, right? We covered that in detail, the frequency of audit, who shall conduct the audit, and type of foods which must be covered for the audit, right? All those things we have already covered. So provided further that no person shall manufacture, import, sell, stock, exhibit, or distribute for sale any article of food which has been subjected to treatment of irradiation, except under a license obtained from Department of Atomic Energy under Atomic Energy Regulation. So guys, they have clearly mentioned here, and also I told you yesterday about Radura logo, right? So all the food which is treated with the irradiation, license number must be obtained from the Department of Atomic Energy. So from wherever they are getting their food irradiated, those unit must be licensed and they should obtain the license from the Atomic Energy Agency, right? Further, application of the license to the licensing authority. So now there would be, these were the few guidelines. So now application process. So as you know, for applying for RC, within 7 days, the decision must be taken. So now we'll talk about how, if anyone is applying for the license, how many days does it take, before he gets a license. So further, an application of the grant of license shall be made in Form B. So Form A is for registration in the Schedule 2. Form B is for license. If anyone wants to apply for the license, he must fill the Form B, which is given in the Schedule 2, and he should submit it to the concerned licensing authority, either to the state or to the center. And it shall be accompanied by self-attested declaration in the format provided in the Annexure 1. So again, here they should also provide a self-attested declaration that they are following all the Schedule 4 requirements and other requirements which are mandatory. And it should also copies of the documents mentioned in Annexure 2 of the Schedule 2 along with the applicable fee prescribed in the Schedule 3. So all these things they should provide whenever they are applying for the license. They should provide all the relevant documents, all the relevant fee, and all the self declarations, right? And all these are provided in certain annexure in the Schedule 2 or Schedule 3. So now we'll talk about the processing of the application. So how many days does it take till the food business operator gets a license? So the license shall, subject to the provision of this regulation, be issued by the concerned licensing authority within the 60 days from the date of issue of application ID number. So now you see here, it takes almost 2 months to issue a license, and that too after issue of application ID number. So application ID number is nothing. So whenever they submit their application form, FSSAI in return acknowledge them, they give them a certain application ID number, right? So in future, all the information if they want to obtain, so everything would happen on this application ID number, right? So now they are saying that within 16 days of the issue of application ID number, the license should be provided. That is as per the FSSAI guideline. So further, if you see, but now again, I mean, designated officer can also again issue inspection in this case if there are any, I mean, if certain documents are missing, then again it can go on hold and until and unless the food business operator provides those specific documents. So, but ideally, all the process must take place within 30 days. So further, if you see, if upon scrutiny of the application within 15 days of the receipt of the application, the concerned licensing authority requires any additional information with respect to application, or if the application is incomplete, the licensing authority shall inform the applicant in writing to furnish such additional information or complete the application as the case may be within 30 days from such notice. In case the applicant fails to furnish the required information within the stipulated time of 30 days, the application of the license shall stand rejected. So guys, as I told you, sometime, some document might be missing, sometime in the application forms, FBO might forget to fill certain information, but in that case, the licensing authority shall inform the FBO within 30 days. And also, within first 30 days, and if the applicant, he, even after receiving the notice, receiving the written notice from the FSSAI or state FDA, if they fail to provide this detail in further 30 days of extension period, then their license shall be completely rejected, right? So moving ahead, on receipt of the complete application, including the additional information, if asked for, the licensing authority shall issue the application ID number to each applicant, which will be referred in all future correspondence. So again, they are saying if everything is complete, if they fill all the application form correctly and they provide additional information, if it's missing, and then the process would be very, very smooth. And this application ID number, this would be for all the future correspondence with the licensing authority and the applicant. So moving ahead, if you see fourth point, after the issue of application ID number, the licensing authority may direct food safety officer or any other person or agency specially designated for the function to inspect the premises in a manner prescribed by the FSSAI in accordance with this regulation. So guys, if you see here, as I told you, some areas are very, very dirty. They have a past history of high contamination, high adulteration. So in those cases, if such food business operator, or not only that, even if they're dealing with high risk food, for example, milk, meat, seafood, right, in that case also, if after giving them the application ID number, designated officer, he can direct the food safety officer that you please go and carry out your inspection and give me the report. So then food safety officer has to go for the inspection before issuing the license, right? So all these things are happening before issuance of the license. So such inspecting officer of the person may issue a notice to the applicant if it deems fit, guiding FBO on necessary steps to be taken or change or alteration to be made in the premises in order to ensure general sanitary and hygienic practices are fulfilled as provided in the Schedule 4. Further, the applicant shall carry out the required step, changes, alteration, and intimate the licensing authority within the 30 days of such period as allowed by the licensing authority. So guys, whenever the food safety officer, he goes on inspection and he finds that certain changes needs to be made, for example, in his premises, there might be a washroom which is very, very close to the kitchen. So now food safety officer, he would give him the direction that, boss, this is not how it would work. You need to either shift your washroom outside your restaurant, or you need to change its position, right? So, I mean, all the sanitary and hygienic requirements as are provided in this Schedule 4, though FSSAI should ensure that all those are met here. And this food business operator, he should take such action which is recommended by food safety officer within 30 days. So after 30 days, he should go and again visit the FSSAI and he should intimate them that all the changes which was suggested by your officer, I have implement all those changes, right? So further, within a period of 30 days from the receipt of inspection report, excluding the time taken by the applicant in complying with the advice, if any, given in the inspection report and verification thereof, the concerned licensing authority shall consider the application and may either grant the license or reject the license. So guys, if you see, within the 30 days of the inspection, so today a food safety officer goes on inspection, he carries out inspection, he gives alterations, right? So within that 30 days period, after he submits his report, then the action should be taken, whether the license should be granted or rejected. So that decision lies with the designated officer, and that too upon the report that a food safety officer submits, and that too it should happen within a period of 30 days, right? Further, provided that before refusing the license, he should be given an opportunity of being heard. Again, I mean, you cannot directly just reject the license. The food business operator should also be given a chance to put his points, right? So guys, I hope things are clear. Just give me thumbs up if things are clear to you. I mean, I am trying to explain you things in very, very easy way, right? Because I mean, these are things which, which might be asked in exam, and these are very, very important, right? Thank you for confirming. So further, if you see, the licensing authority shall issue license in the format C. So format C, I'll show you how format C looks when we move ahead in this video. So format C is the format in which the license should be issued, and it is given in this schedule 4 of this regulation. And again, a true copy of it should be displayed at a prominent place at all the time in the premises. So as in case of small food business operator, they should also display the copy of the license at all the time whenever they are carrying out the business. So further, if you see procedure for license in certain local areas, so now you will see how licenses provided to the railways, how licenses provided to certain other government bodies, right? As you know, our Indian Army, our Navy, they also run big canteens for their officers, right? So even they are covered under the purview of the FSSAI. So we'll talk about that in detail now. So now they come under certain local areas. So a license may be issued by the licensing authority for one or more article of food and also for different establishment or premises in the same local area, including collection, chilling milk unit, and cooperative in the or its members. So if you see, a single license may be issued by the licensing authority for one or more article of food and also for the different establishment of premises in the same local area. So if for example, if a food business operator he has a I mean small shops, like for example 5 shops, but they are in the same area. So he need not to obtain separate 5 licenses for running all those shops. He can obtain a single license and he can run all those small units. For example, it could be milk collection unit, then it could be milk chilling unit, right? So they can obtain just single license, but they can have their shops or the collection units at a different area, at a different locations in that area. Right. So further, the CEO of the FSCI of India, in his capacity of being a Commissioner of Food Safety, may appoint DO or FSO or central of the central government organization like railway and defense. So guys, see, even the railways, railways, they have their big canteens, IRCTC, and as I told you, Indian Army, Indian Navy, Indian Air Force, they have their big mess, right? Where all officers they come and eat food, and also there are defense canteens, right? So all these bodies, they are covered by FSSAI, and they have to obtain the license from the FSSAI because they are operating at the central level. So they have to obtain the license from the FSSAI and not from the state FDAs. So that is what they're saying, which have a large number of food establishment to ensure safety in these establishment. So why they need to obtain the license? Just to ensure that they are complying with all these regulations, they are complying with the FSSAI Act. So no one is spared, right? Even the government bodies are not spared. So everyone has to obtain the license, and they have to adhere to the sanitary and hygienic requirements provided in Schedule 4. So further, commencement of business. If you see, if a license application is applied, if he obtains the license, so now how he should commence the business. An applicant may commence his business, and the concerned licensing authority shall not deny the applicant to commence his business from the date of making the application, complete application, if a license is not issued within 60 days or the applicant has not received any intimation of inadequacy. So guys, again, as I told you, FSSAI has clearly mentioned, so within 60 days things should be clear. I mean, he should be issued license. But if within 60 days, if either he does not, if a designated officer, either he does not issues a license, or he does not reject his application, or further no communication is made with this food business operator, so he can start his business, right? So there is no onus on this food business operator. He can just start his business, but further, I mean, improvement notice can be issued to him if there are any lacunae, right? So similarly, within 60 days, he can start his business and no one can stop him. So further, validity and renewal. So again, as you know, there is a certain validity of this license and registration. So it needs to be renewed every, I'll tell you how much time it requires for renewal of the license or the registration. So if you see, a registration of the license granted under this regulation shall be valid and subsisting unless otherwise specified for a period of 1 to 5 years as chosen by the FBO. So as FSSAI, they have given them a window of 1 to 5 years. Either they can register or take a license for 1 year, or they can straight away take a license for 5 years, right? So this is the choice of the FBO for how much time period he wants to obtain the license. So from the date of issue of registration of the license, subject to the remittance of the fee applicable for the period and compliance with all the conditions of the license. So the license will be valid, but guys, important point to note here, what FSSAI is saying, throughout the validity of this license, he should be complying with all the conditions of the license. As I told you, there are certain conditions of the license, there are certain conditions of the FSSAI Act, there are certain conditions of this regulation. In case he does not comply, FSSAI finds that, okay, he has taken the license for 5 years, but he has to also comply. If he does not comply, then appropriate action would be taken. Even his license can be cancelled before the validity, right? So second point, any application for the renewal or registration or license granted under this regulation shall be made in Form A and Form B of the Schedule 2, and as the case may be, not later than 30 days prior to the expiry. So guys, this is very, very important. And also, Form A is for applying for the new license also, or new registration, and Form B is for applying for the new license. So even if you want to renew, you can use the same forms, right? And also, he should apply, he should not wait, I mean, till the end of the last day, right? He should apply 30 days prior to the expiry, because on this license they mention the time period when your license is going to expire. So food business operator, he should be very vigilant, he should be very informant, and before expiry of 30 days he should go and apply for the renewal, right? If he misses this date, there are certain fines which he has to pay. So we'll talk about that in these points. So further, if you see, the registration of the license shall continue to be in force till such time that the order are passed on the renewal application, which in no case shall be beyond 30 days from the date of expiry of the registration. So as I told you, 30 days is the limit. So before expiry of this, he has to apply for the renewal. But if you see any renewal application filed beyond the period mentioned in the regulation above, but before the expiry date, shall accompanied by the late fee of 100 rupees per day for each day of delay. So guys, as I told you, 1 month before, that is 30 days before expiring. For example, if his license is expiring on 31st December, so today is November, right? So he should apply, ideally he should apply at the end of this month, at the end of the November, right? That is 30th of the November. But if in case he fails to do that, so he has to pay 100 rupees fine per day for the whole month of December, right? Until he renews. So I mean, this is I mean, not a heavy fine, but again, I mean, why, one should avoid this, right? So 100 rupees the fee, is the fine which he has to pay for delaying, right? That is the 30 days, right? So further, if you see, any registration of the license for which renewal has not been applied for within this period time mentioned in the regulation above shall expire, and the food business operator shall stop his activity. So guys, FSCI is very, very strict here in this point. They are saying if they are not applying for the renewal and his license has expired and there is no application from the FBO for renewal, he should immediately stop all his business. He cannot sell food anymore, right? He can only sell his food after applying a new application, right? So if he forgets to renew, so immediately he should stop all the activities and he should apply for a fresh license, right? So, and you can imagine how much loss it could cost to any food business operator if he forgets to apply, and also other actions which might be taken by FSSAI on him, right? So it is very, very important for all these food business to follow all these guidelines, all these regulations. So FBO having a valid certification of accreditation, accredited food safety auditor, or any form, any agency from any accredited agency by food authority or any other organization notified by the food authority for this purpose will not normally be required to the inspected. Yeah, I mean, what they are trying to say is, as I told you, FSSAI, they conduct audits, they conduct inspections. If this food business operator, if he has an audit report and at the time of renewal, again, inspection should not be ordered by the DO. He can just show that I have a good audit report, and he can submit that audit report. So whenever there is a renewal, so complete process should not be followed again, right? So in order to save time, he can just submit the audit report and his license would be renewed without conducting the physical inspection of food safety officer, right? Provided that DO may order an inspection before the renewal if considered necessary for the reason to be recorded in writing. But they have also given an upper hand to the designated officer if DO feels no, that inspection needs to be conducted even before the renewal, right? So he can order that inspection and food safety officer has to go and carry out the inspection, right? So further, suspension and cancellation of the RC or the license. So in what conditions the license can be suspended? Although license is issued, but again, as you know, they have to comply with all those regulations. If they do not comply, their license can be suspended or it can be completely cancelled. So these are the reasons why it can be done. So if you see, the registering or the licensing authority, in accordance with the provision of section 32 of the Act. So in section 32, if you see, if you go and see the section 32, you will see in the Act there are certain provisions, right? So if you see, the registering and the licensing authority, with the provision of section 32 of the Act, may, after giving the concerned FBO reasonable opportunity of being heard, suspend any registration of license in respect of all or any activity for which the registration or license has been granted. So guys, section 32 is very, very important. So in section 32, license cancellation or suspension terms are given in the FSSAI Act. So whenever this word suspension or cancellation comes into your mind, so just recall section 32, because in section 32 of the Act, they have given, it deals with the suspension and cancellation of the license, right? Further, if you see, if there is a reason to believe that FBO has failed to comply with the condition within a period mentioned in the improvement notice served under the section 32, and section 32 deals with the improvement notice, a copy of such statement shall be furnished to the concerned FBO whose registration or license has been suspended. So guys, as you know, timely FSSAI, they keep on conducting the inspection. So during that inspection, if they find although license is issued, he is running his business smoothly, but in the regular inspection, FSA food safety officer finds that there are certain improvements, so he should issue this form, that is improvement notice, as per section 32. If he fails to comply with such improvement notice, then his license can be cancelled, or then his license will be suspended, not cancelled, right? So this is very, very important. So further, if you see, the registering or the licensing authority, as the case may be, may direct an inspection of the FBO within a reasonable period, which shall not be less than 14 days from the date of order of suspension. So now if you see, guys, his license is suspended and he is given directions by the food safety officer to fulfill all those lacunas, all the loopholes. So again, he should be given only 14 days. So within 14 days, I mean, it should not be less than 14 days. So within 14 days, he needs to take all the important actions. And after 14 days, again, food safety officer will go and conduct the inspection. And further, if you see, in the event that the registration of the licensing authority is of the opinion on a review of the inspection report that FBO has still failed to rectify the defects or the omission or comply with the condition of the improvement notice causing the suspension, such authority may cancel the license. So guys, now, I mean, food safety officer or the designated officer, they cannot directly just cancel the license. First of all, they would the inspection, they can only suspend the license, they cannot cancel it. But that too, they must issue the improvement notice. I mean, they should give a chance to the FBO, right, to make improvement in his manufacturing unit. So they should suspend it, but they should give enough, FBO must be given 14 days time. So after this 14 days time, even when the food safety officer goes and carry out the inspection, and on second inspection, if he finds that the food business operator has failed to comply again with those regulations, I mean, he is clearly violating the rules, right? So in that case, the license shall be cancelled, right? I hope it's clear to you. Yeah, so moving ahead, notwithstanding anything contained in this regulation, the registering or the licensing authority may suspend or cancel the license forthwith in the interest of public health. So as I told you, these are the conditions before cancelling the license. There should be a suspension of the license. But if you see here, if the designated officer or the FSSAI, they believe that license must be cancelled immediately, but that too in the interest of public health, they can take that action too. But for that, they have to record their reason in writing. So did you understand, guys, the difference between these two? They can cancel the license immediately as well in the public interest, but before canceling, they should give a chance to the FBO to make such changes, right? I hope it's clear, guys. Just give me thumbs up if things are clear. Thank you, guys. Thank you for confirming. Thank you. Yeah, so moving ahead, if you see here, a suspension or the cancellation of the registration or the license under this regulation should not entitle the FBO for any compensation of the refund of fee. So guys, FSSAI has clearly mentioned if the license is cancelled or suspended, there is no compensation which would be paid by the FSSAI to this FBO, or the refund of the fee. You remember, they have to pay a fee for applying for the license. There would be no refund because they are not complying with this regulation, right? So no compensation of the refund of the fee would be provided if their license is cancelled. So further, if you see, after a period of 3 months from the date of cancellation, the above food business operator may make a fresh application. So FSSAI give them the 3 months time. So today, if his license is cancelled in the month of November, so he can only apply. He can only apply for a new license in the month of March. That is after a period of 3 days, right? That is December, January, February. So for these 3 months, he should not apply. He can only apply in the month of March, right? So 3 months period is given to them. So further modification, expansion, or changing in the premises. So guys, here again, I'll tell you in brief what they are trying to say. If, for example, with the change in time, some food business operator, they want to expand, they want to even make, for example, if any restaurant, they want to they want to expand their restaurant, right? So for that also, they need to take the permission of the FSSAI. Food safety officer would go on inspection. He would conduct the inspection over there. He would submit the inspection report. Only after that can change their premises. So do you remember last time when you went to restaurant like 5 years back? So today that restaurant is completely changed. Its interior has changed. It's everything. I mean, everything is changed, right? Building is changed. So that also happens. All these modifications, expansion or changes in the premises, they are done only with the prior permission of the FSSAI, right? They cannot just make change on their own. They have to take the prior permission of the FSSAI. Only they can make such changes in their unit, right? Now let's talk about the mode of payment. So yeah, even if they are changing the location, they need to inform the FSSAI, be it change of the location or be it change of the their present unit. They have to inform the food safety officer or the authority immediately, right? So further, mode of payment. So all the payment and charges shall be payable under this regulation shall be paid via pay order or demand draft or any other online mode of payment. So I mean, this is very, very simple. There are different mode of payment, so one can choose any mode of payment as per their convenience, right? So further, transfer of the RC or the license in case of death. So guys, this is important. So sometimes what happens is, in India especially, the food operating units or the restaurants, the license is issued on the name of the, for example, on the name of the father. So in case there is a certain death of the father, then in case that son needs to obtain license on his name. So how that can be, what that is provided here, right? So transfer. Now if he wants to transfer the license from his father's name to his name, so what he should follow? So first point, in the event of the death of the holder of the RC or the license, such certificate or the license shall be subsist for the benefit of the legal representative or any family member of the deceased until the expiry of period of 90 days from the date of death of the holder of RC or the license. So guys, for example, if someone dies in a family on whose name the license was issued, so license would not be immediately stand cancelled or suspended. They give them the time of 90 days. So just remember this time period is very important, right? So but the immediate hire, right? So his son or whoever the legal representative who will be the responsible for conducting that business, within this 90-day period, he must approach FSSAI, he must apply for new license, or he must apply for the transfer of license, right? So 90 is the period window which FSSAI has given from the date of death. So second point, such longer period as DO may allow. Also, designated officer has power. He can also extend the time from this 90 days. Although FSA say that within 90 days everything should be done, but DO has the power. He can also extend this 90-day time period. Second, the legal representative or the family member of the disease holder of the RC or the license shall apply to the concerned authority for the transfer certificate. So as I told you, if the unit is central, if it comes under central licensing authority, he should apply for the transfer for the certificate to the FSSAI or to the state FDA, as the case may be. Right. So third point, the registering or the licensing authority, as the case may be, after making such inquiry as it deemed fit, either approve the transfer of the RC or the license if it is satisfied that the applicant is a legal representative, or refuse the request, provided that the RC or the licensing authority shall not refuse the refusal without giving the applicant an opportunity of being heard. So guys, again here, I mean, designated officer, he is so powerful that he can either reject the transfer of the license, because further he the person who wants to get the license transferred on his name, he has to fulfill certain requirements. I mean, he has to furnish certain documents. So now if a designated officer, if he feels that no, this license should not be transferred, so he can take that decision or he can transfer that license, but opportunity of the he should take the action only after hearing to the person, right? Fourth point, upon filing of the application for transfer and the pending the decision of the authority, the RC of the license shall be in force. So as I told you, uh, even if he has applied for the license for the transfer, he should not stop his business activity. He can carry out his business activity, right? As it's clearly mentioned here, he shall business should be continue to be in force. He should not stop it, although it might take 1 year, 2 year. He can conduct his business, right? So further appeal. So in appeal, if you see, a food business operator agreed by an order of the registering authority or licensing authority, as the case may be under the regulation, may prefer an appeal to the concerned designated officer or the state commissioner as the provision laid down. So for example, his license is rejected, or his application of the transfer of the license is rejected. So there is a method for appeal. The FBO, he can appeal against he can appeal to registering authority or the licensing authority that please grant me the permission to obtain the license, or whatever the decision. I mean, whatever there is any loopholes, I can fulfill those loopholes, but please consider, right? So he can appeal for re-licensing or transfer of the license to these authorities, right? So guys, another important thing is return. So now in the topic of return, I mean, there are two type of returns: annual return or half yearly return. So we'll talk about that in detail. So in case of return, if you see, every license shall on or before 31st May of each year submit a return electronically or in a physical form as prescribed by the Food Safety Commission in the Form D1. So guys, I mean, this is not important. Just remember this date, that annually, every year on 31st May, they have to file a return. I think you might be knowing what return is, right? Even you pay income tax return, your parents might be paying income tax return. So similarly, all these food business operator, they have to pay the return to the FSSAI. So they shall pay it before 31st May of each year. Just remember that, right? So further, a separate return shall be filed for every license issued under regulation, irrespective of whatever, whether the same FBO holds more than one license. So guys, here it's very, very important. Although a single license can be issued for a food business operator if he has a separate 5 units, or I mean separate manufacturing units in a same area, but he should file return separately. License can be one, but return shall be filed separately for all those units, right? So further, a delay in filing the return beyond 30 days for each year shall attract a fine of 100 rupees. So if he's not filing the filing before 31st May, then he has to pay fine of 100 rupees per day of delay, right? So further, I mean, FBO, I mean, you can skip this point, not important. Uh, yeah, then further power of the state UT to be, constitute an advisory committee. So yeah, just go through this power of the state or UT to constitute an advisory committee. So now guys, the state government of the UT, if required, designate an existing advisory committee of the panchayat at the state level where the committee does not exist, constitute an advisory committee to assist, aid and advise any matter concerned to the food safety. So guys, I mean, FSSAI, they have power to, make an advisory committee who can advise on matters concerning to the food safety in that particular area, right? Then comes the jurisdiction of the designated officer. So what are the powers of the designated officer? If you see, the commissioner of food safety by order appoint DO, who shall not be below the rank of sub-divisional officers to be in charge of the administrative area. So as I told you, he should be the sub-divisional officer, SDO, right? So designated officers minimum requirement is SDO, right? So guys, that's it. So schedule 1. So if you see in schedule 1, so these are the manufacturing unit who falls under the purview of the FSSAI. So all these units, they need to take the license from the FSSAI. So just go through it. I mean, I already taught you, if I'm not wrong. So just go through it, but you need to remember guys this number, right? I'll not teach you because this is very, very, I mean, factual. So there is no way to, I mean, you just need to remember this figure. There's no way out, right? So just go through this. These are the 10 type of units for food business unit which fall under the central licensing authority. So just remember these figures. Very, very important. 2 metric ton, 50 large animal, 150 small animals, 500 kg of meat, 2 metric ton grains, 100% export oriented unit. So all these units, they fall under the purview of the FSSAI, the central licensing authority, and they need to apply for the license to the FSSAI, right? So just remember all these 10 points, and they fall under schedule 1. So now quickly I'll run you through the schedule 2. So if you see schedule 2, so in schedule 2 there is nothing, there are the forms. So if anyone wants to apply for the registrations, petty food business operator, he should fill this form A, right? So that is given in schedule 2. So further, if we move ahead, so I'll take you immediately to the form B. So just have a glance. This is how form A looks and this is how form B looks. That's it. So there's nothing to remember in this. So this is how form B looks like. So if anyone wants to apply for the license, he should, fulfill all these requirements. He has to fill all the form. Normally form, I mean, you would have filled the FSSAI forms. They would require, they might, whenever you before applying for this examination, you filled the form. So in that form, there were 10 requirements which were mandatory. Right. Similarly, for applying for the license, all these food business operator, they have to provide all these information in the form. Right. So yeah, that is Form A and Form B. And yeah, this is the declaration. As I told you, you remember in Annexure 1 declaration. So this is the declaration that yes, we are solely responsible for everything that we are providing in this regulation, in this form. And also we are adhering to the sanitary and hygienic practices provided in Schedule 4. So this is a declaration which they need to provide along with the form, right? So yeah, and further, if you see the another important thing, you can just go through the documents which are to be attached. It is not at all important from examination point of view because this is for the food business operator, not for the food safety officers, right? So I mean, just go through it. I mean, these are very, very basic. Photo ID card, all the name of the list of the people who are running the business, and all those proof of identity, their address proof, all those NOC, all these things, right? So just go through it. Not at all important from examination point of view. You can even skip it. Yeah, this you can just, I mean, give a more, in-depth study. Condition of the license, because these are very, very important. Condition of the license. Again, it would be a repetition. If you see, they have to furnish a annual return and, ensure no product other than the product indicated in the license shall be produced in the unit. So just go through this again. I mean, I don't feel I should teach you because these are very, very basic things, right? Just read it, and I mean, things would be clear to you. And in case you have any doubt, just let me know, right? So yeah, and again, Form C, this is the license format. After the license, after the application is through, this is how the license should be provided. All his names, details, kind of business, right? All these things would be filled and the license shall be provided in this format. Form C. So this is the format how he should file the annual return for the businesses other than milk and milk products. So D1 deals with the annual return for the products other than milk and milk products. And further, if you see Form D2, so it deals with the half yearly return for the milk and milk products. So half yearly return, you can see, just you can remember this time period from when till when the half yearly return stands valid, right? So just you can just go through it and you can remember this term, although not important from examination point of view. But yeah, I mean, you should have certain interest as well, to remember certain things, right? So further, so this is the format. Just go through it, and you need not to go in detail. So this is the form of guarantee. Yeah, I think I missed this point. So guys, another important thing is whenever any bigger food business operator, he is supplying his products to these street food vendors, so he has to issue a form of guarantee. Why? Because these petty food business operator, they are, if they are not manufacturing their own food, they are buying it from bigger manufacturing unit. So that should be accompanied with a guarantee form. So in that guarantee form, nothing is, I mean, they just provide the guarantee that the food which we are providing to this petty food business operator, it is safe and healthy for the consumer. That's it. So guys, again, just go through this. This is this schedule 3. So in schedule 3, fee is given. If someone is applying for the registration, he has to pay just 100 rupees of fee. If he is applying for the license to the central licensing authority, he has to pay the 7,500 fee. So also remember this fees. So this can be asked in the examination, right? So just go through it. It's very, very simple, and you have to mug it up. There is no other way, right? So just remember these figures and remember who are eligible for this fee, right? So this is given in schedule 3. So schedule 3 completely deals with the fee. So guys, schedule 4, again, as I told you, this is very, very important. It deals with the sanitary and hygienic requirement, and we have already covered the schedule 4, right? So that's it, guys. I mean, this regulation is very, very important. So I think today you would have got a better idea, right, about how licensing is done, how registration is done, how renewal is done, right? So I hope things are clear to you. So guys, just give me last thumbs up, then we'll close this class. So we'll meet again in the evening, right? Fine. Thank you guys. Thank you for confirming. So there would be another class in the evening. So we'll cover another regulation. So my plan is to finish the syllabus within this week. So you can then further revise, and then I can conduct your test, right? So guys, thank you so much. We'll see you in the evening. Take care. Bye. Study hard. Take care.